Hey, what's up? It's Dan McDonald here, and today we're going to be talking about the war on humanity. It's first thing in the morning. We're just getting started here. Obviously, I'm going to have to be sort of politically correct as it relates to the social media sites here, but they're about to ramp things up a bit. You know, there was a warm up with the pandemic. And so now there's a lot more coming down the pipeline. There's a lot of things burning. We had the Maui fires. We've got the fires in Canada, fires in Australia, fires on the West Coast. All of them human started, and then the climate hoopla, it's not really real. None of it's real, as a matter of fact. Like, none of the things that are happening are real. And so what really matters for me to share with you today is just you protecting you. I mean, I don't even mean to bring up the negative stuff, but what happens is that if there's any unconsciousness within your own self. Now, I've been up on this stuff. I've been talking about this stuff for years. So none of this is new to me at all. I've been I've been a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy nut for many, many decades, really. So none of this surprised me. And I knew and I know the plan, but a lot of people don't. So they don't drink the proper water, and they drink the water with the fluoride, and they drink the coffee with the fluoride, and they eat the soup at the restaurant with the fluoride. And then they eat the food that's been processed and altered. And then they watch the news and believe in any of that. And that causes a problem there, because that's a psychological operation that then makes you into a sheep when you really want to be a lion. You really want to think for yourself. I just go by common sense and nature. And I have this map that I use. And there's eternal nature truths. And then there's the ever-changing propaganda of mind control for the peasants. And you don't want to be one of those peasants. You want to be a warrior for truth, so you can have peace and love in your life, you know. But if they destroy you, because so many people get destroyed when they go in for the medicines and the medications due to the fact that they don't want to feel their feelings. And they also, due to the fact that they don't want to feel their feelings and they're not connected to their spirit, then food becomes a drug, and then that becomes very, very heavy, creating a lot of pain, and then blockages in the body. Then you get diagnosed, then you take more pills, even though that dude has no clue of what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So you want to get sober as you can, and get as light and free and clear as you can. So eating by the spirit, learning about fasting, learning about the juicing, which is also a type of fasting, learning about fruit, learning about clean eating in general, whole foods. But if you have any health problems, you're going to want to flush those out of your system in one way or another. And a lot of those health problems are intentionally caused by the well baby visits that start in your youth and the propaganda of the junk food, which is on every billboard everywhere. And so you can get your welfare check and go buy junk food. If they really cared, you would only be able to buy fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole foods. But you can take your food stamps and buy little Debbie cakes, and then you just get more and more overweight and more diabetic. You understand? And so they don't care about you. That's the nature of the war on humanity, is that they're protecting this dark pull down energy, pulling humanity, blocking them from ascending. And so that's a real powerful field that we all deal with as human beings. We have it naturally as human beings, the light and the dark in our own heart, which is fear versus love. And it plays out in a bigger sense on more of a global stage now. It used to be maybe the king, and he would tax everyone to death, and he'd come take your last chicken, you know what I mean, to pay for the war so that he could whatever, right? And it never ends. And so look at how terribly they're spending our money, you know, the tax money, and they're just sending it away to these foreign nations. And then the people that got their houses burned down in Hawaii get $700. It's amazing how we're willing to be so insulted, our intelligence. Now, me, I don't believe in any of it, never bought a single thing of it. I know about the election, I know about the pandemic, I know about the politicians, I know about the communism, I know about the food, I know about the water, I know what's going on in the air, I know who's starting the fires, I know they want to stop the food supply, I understand their desire to have 15-minute cities so that they can control every movement you make. They want to take away your right to choose what kind of food you want to eat, and they want you eating insects. You will own nothing, they will own everything, and you'll be happy. Now me, I don't own anything and I'm happy, but that's a choice that I make on my own. I'm borrowing a truck from God, I'm borrowing a body from nature, I'm borrowing this house from my landlord, I'm borrowing this toilet paper, I'm borrowing all these books. Everything is just borrowed. I'm just sitting here as a consciousness that's infinite and eternal, and I'm just passing through, so everything is borrowed. So I own nothing, and I am relatively happy. And each day that I cultivate more love for myself, understanding and alignment with my soul, so that the soul can line up the heart and the mind. So different things like meditation, fasting, praying, worshiping, spending time in nature, grounding, pure natural foods. We're on a juice cleanse right now. I feel really, really well. I've done a lot of juice fasting before, but then I really went hard on the water fasting, and I preferred that. And now I'm kind of just exploring juice fasting again, and it's actually pretty cool. It's got its pros and its cons, just like fasting has its pros and its cons, just like eating has its pros and its cons. I was just thinking this morning how well, I'll do that video later, but about the oxalates, so everybody wants to point out the poisons of the opposite end, but they don't want to look at the poisons in their own diet. I think it's hilarious, So the carnivores don't want to look at the poisons in their diet. The vegans don't want to look at the poisons in their diet. But this person who's in the middle, who really wants to know the truth, they want to understand all the different poisons, so that ideally what you would do is minimize your demise. You can't stop the process of dying, because every time you eat, you die a little more. Whoa. But at the same time, welcome to duality, you also keep yourself alive. And that's the interesting thing about duality. And then I guess what you try to do is minimize the poisons as much as possible. And nobody does that because they stick on one side or the other. And somewhere in the middle are these simple natural foods, but everyone wants to be jacked up and buff. But that ends up being stiffness, pain, bloated, and then they're in their 40s and 50s with all these aches and pains. And so they tease you for being skinny, but you're able to really have a lot of energy. And so as you get older, it's better to be thin like me. You get teased for being skinny when you're younger, because all these guys, you want to be jacked. But then what happens is that they have heart problems, joint problems, kidney problems, liver problems, because they ate too much food for the organs to jack up the muscles. And they never really realize that now you got to clean out your kidneys, clean out your organs, regenerate your endocrine glands from all the stimulants that you use to put on weight, instead of just eating natural, plain, simple, high water foods that keeps your body and your tissues flexible and keeps your kidneys functioning optimally and your liver functioning optimally and your brain functioning optimally, and keeping your colon clean and your heart clear and your blood vessels clean, and using circulation, grounding, sunlight, fresh air, water, and higher consciousness to tap into your soul and be guided, so that you can avoid the war on humanity, the evil. So the most important thing that you learn how to do is love yourself. Really, really learn to love, respect, and honor yourself, and connect to your deeper soul essence. And that starts aligning the heart and the mind. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because all the things that you've avoided are going to start coming up. So the war on humanity is a reflection of the war within. So use the war on humanity to go inside yourself, find peace, wholeness, and harmony. And just be careful about what's going on in the external world. And don't just eat the food mindlessly, or drink the water, or take the medications. Do a lot of research about what it is that you're putting into your body. What are the side effects of these medications? What are you going to do what are you going to do to your child when you take them in for that well baby visit? What are you actually doing? What are you putting into their arm? What are you putting into their stomach? What are you putting into your stomach? What kind of air are you breathing? You know, do you have plants in your house? Do you get outside? Do you get enough sunlight? Do you walk? Do you earth? Do you ground? What time do you get to bed? Do you get to sleep on time? You know what I mean? Do you spend mindlessly scrolling on the internet when you should be going into the internet? Can you dig it? So I'm not trying to tell you how to live. I'm just trying to tell you to be careful, love yourself, and do not comply. Okay, with this next round, just say no to all of it straight away. And anyone, you look them in their face and you say, I will not comply. Not this time. The first time, we were all a little bit dumber than we are now. We were all a little bit more mentally sheepish, and we were afraid, and we got bamboozled. But this time we know that it's all hogwash. We understand the World Economic Forum. We understand globalism. We understand tyranny. We understand communism. We understand that you are reptiles and pedophiles and you want to control us, and we ain't having it. So if this is too much for you, then you're sleepwalking and you need to wake up, because nothing that I'm saying here is new or outside of the box. This is all basic, simple, plain, common sense presented to you in a way that's a little rough, because these fools are tripping and I'm not going along with it. So what's your plan? You better be ready, because they're not going to stop this thing. And so far, we're not smart enough to band together because they have control of everything. But we cannot let this go on any further. The CBDCs, the digital money, the social credit score, the communism, the cutting and the mutilating of children, the brain damage and the psychological operation. It's not a good idea. God is here, the truth is here, love is here, it always has been. Peace, it's inside of you. It's a field of energy that never goes away. So I'm just trying to tell you to tap into that for yourself, so you can be happy and at peace and at ease in this world, and understand that there is a great evil outside of us and inside of us. So fear is to be processed, addressed, faced, transformed. The outer world becomes the inner world. Can you dig it? And so transform your inner life to transform your outer life. Look inside and make the quantum jumps that you need through different thought patterns, different information, different energy, different consciousness, by choosing a different timeline for your own life. You'll see you'll be living in paradise, feeling good. Can you dig it? Take care of yourselves. Detoxify your body and your mind and your heart, and tap into your infinite soul energy. And there's nothing you can't do, baby. Can you dig it? DTM, ranting. It's the end of the world. Where's my tinfoil hat?